to start with I don't know today, a mother or father perhaps, because we're going to play a little round of Guess the Guest.
No matter how you feel about Rachael Ray, her infectious personality and carefree approach to cooking on television have contributed to her illustrious career spanning decades. She leaves behind an incredible legacy thanks to her long life, popular novels, and many accolades. Even though she has had a tough go of it with her health, her family, and her money. But when news broke that she was departing after 17 years, many assumed things weren't as great as she had led her admirers to think. Some even went so far as to say she wasn't really happy. Come with us as we investigate Rachael Ray's struggles, many of which are hidden from the public eye, and her current endeavors. The town of Glens Falls, New York is the birthplace of Rachael Domenica Ray. Her father has ancestry from France, Scotland, and Wales, while her mother is from Sicily. When Rachael was 8 years old, her family uprooted and settled in Lake George, New York. Some health difficulties, such as voice problems, plagued Rachael throughout her youth and into adulthood. She had a modest upbringing and a passion for the kitchen. Even though Rachael's mom owned restaurants in New York's Capital District, she dropped out of Pace University 2 years after graduating from Lake George Senior High School and moved to New York City to work at the Macy's Marketplace candy counter. She turned down a raise at Macy's in favor of a position at the specialized grocery business Agatha and Valentina. While residing in Queens, she was raped twice in a span of 1 week by the same individual while working in Manhattan. She had to brandish her mace in self-defense the first time it occurred in her apartment building's lobby. When it happened again, the thief was even more violent. According to Rachael, he hauled her into an alley and brutally beat her with his revolver, giving the impression that he planned to kill her. She returned to the Adirondacks in New York and took a job managing the restaurants at the Sagamore Resort on Lake George after these terrifying events. In Queensbury, New York, she was employed at Sutton's Marketplace as well. Their cider donuts and grilled raisin bread were also advertised by her in one of their advertisements. As a guest on the Today Show for the first time in 2001, she got her big break in the culinary sector. Meeting individuals who disliked cooking while working at the shop inspired Rachael to create 30-minute meals. In fact, she was a teacher who showed her students how to whip up healthy meals in under an hour. 30-minute meals was Rachael's culinary feature because viewers enjoyed her lively attitude and easy-to-follow recipes. Her ability to whip up mouth-watering meals in less than half an hour caused it to explode in popularity. In 2001, Rachael penned her first cookbook, 30-Minute Meals, after the success of her segment on The Today Show. Thanks to the success of the book, Rachael became even more well-known as a culinary expert. Following that, she continued to build her culinary career by appearing as a guest on several TV shows and producing her own shows. A common acquaintance had been attempting to introduce them for a year before she met John Cusimano at a party in 2004. John said on Rachael's program that the buddy had invited everyone tall, including exes, even though neither Rachael nor John are very towering. John made a light-hearted comment about how they happened to cross paths in a sea of knees. People magazine said that Rachael first suspected that Cusimano was homosexual. Their love tale began when she changed her mind about introducing him to another attractive Italian guy she knew. Rachael wed John on September 24, 2005, in the Italian town of Montalcino in the region of Tuscany. For the most part, she calls Lake Luzerne, New York, her home. In addition to the studio, she has an apartment in Manhattan's Greenwich Village. Since then, they have remained a pair. Daytime television viewers were captivated by Rachael's 2006 self-titled talk program, The Rachael Ray Program. Her culinary skills and kind personality shone through as she became a household celebrity thanks to the show's popularity. Rachael has spent her whole career aiming to make cooking a joy for all her viewers. Even her kitchenware and culinary implements were handmade by her. From that point on, however, things began to spiral downward. The possibility that Rachael had throat cancer was a topic of speculation in 2008. After a story in the National Enquirer revealed that she was about to undergo tumor removal surgery, the public took a break from following her. According to another piece, Rachael's voice cords were affected by a growth that might need radiation therapy and may potentially include cancer cells. Despite the fact that the cancer rumor was unfounded, she continued to have health issues. Following the revelation in the National Enquirer, Rachael's representative informed People magazine that the reality TV star required vocal cord surgery. The operation, however, was to remove a benign cyst and not malignancy. According to the spokeswoman, Rachael is completely well and has no symptoms of illness. A little outpatient operation was performed on Rachael in December 2008. It hardly disrupted her job routine for 1 week. Her tapings for Rachael Ray and the Food Network went forward as planned after the procedure. However, she had to cope with horrific events on several occasions. Especially her mother, Rachael keeps very near to her heart. She often spoke about her mother's importance in her life, praising her as the greatest chef she's ever had. The fact that Rachael's mother was there for her first appearance on the Today Show was a major factor in the Food Network taking notice of her. Although they are very close, Rachael's family has had to overcome many obstacles. A major family crisis occurred in 2013 when Rachael's aunt, Geraldine Domenica Scuderi, died outside of Rachael's home. Looking after Rachael's house in late November was Geraldine, a 77-year-old woman. She once unintentionally locked herself out of the home while going outdoors to feed the birds. Her attempt to shatter a window and return inside was thwarted by the biting cold. Regrettably, she passed out and was not discovered until the next day. Following this, Rachael was falsely accused by her cousins of being the killer of Geraldine. Due to Geraldine's lack of a home key, it was claimed that Rachael was negligent. Geraldine had lung difficulties, which might have played a role in her collapse, they also said. Things escalated when Rachael skipped the burial to film an episode for her TV program. Even though this made some relatives unhappy, Rachael's brother defended her by stating that no one else was mad at her for skipping the burial. Even in her extended family, problems persisted. John, her husband, and she seemed like the perfect match. John often appears beside her, whether it's at a media event, a TV program, or even just on her social media accounts. They had been married for around a year when they ran into a major issue. The National Enquirer published an article on the famed chef on its cover in November 2006, with the title, "Rachael Ray's Secret Pain, Husband Caught Cheating." The article said that John had an extramarital affair with a Florida lady for 5 years, continuing even after they were married. Furthermore, it was said that another lady claimed that he had paid her to perform some quite disturbing things. At the time, John and Rachael denied the rumors. Rachael called all the rumors of their marital problems nonsense and ignored them. At the time, Rachael said that everyone gossips about other people, but that our loved ones are saddened by this news. Our safety is a concern for them. The tabloids continued to harass them even after she asked them to cease. John was reportedly seen in a New York City club in 2013, allegedly without Rachael. The insider said that he was often hanging around with girls. John contemplated suing the publication when the pair refuted the charges once again. Thankfully, the pair has dealt with any issues that have arisen since that time. Happily, on their 10th anniversary in 2015, Rachael and John decided to do a second wedding ceremony in the same Italian castle where they first were married. Many well-known people joined them in celebrating their anniversary, along with family and friends. John and Rachael's affection for one another has not faded at all. As part of the vow renewal ceremony, Rachael recited Charles Bernstein's All the Whiskey in Heaven poem. It is not surprised that Rachael is well known for her affection for dogs, given her abundance of love to provide. Throughout her television programs and magazine articles, she often discussed her dog Isabeau. It devastated Rachael's heart when Isabeau passed away. Isabeau passed away quietly in our arms in her backyard in the Adirondack Mountains of New York while basking in the sun, according to her Instagram post about the terrible news. As has been the case since her 2005 adoption by Rachael and John, the beautiful dog obviously died while being cherished. The unconditional love of Isabeau gave Rachael and John valuable lessons about compassion and empathy, as Rachael had previously said. By speaking up for rescue and adoption and sharing her devotion to dogs with her followers, Rachael and Isabeau helped get the word out about the importance of shelter animals, particularly pitties, and the lessons they taught. Truly, Rachael has shown that she is an animal-loving, compassionate person. Even with the proceeds from the sale of Rachael Ray Nutrish going to the Rachael Ray Foundation, she continues to advocate for animal rights. Despite the fact that another Isabeau will never be born, Rachael's tireless efforts will guarantee that other animals find loving homes. The Senior Vice President of Operations of North Shore Animal League America, Joanne Yohannan, praised Rachael for her significant contributions to animal welfare. Her genuine enthusiasm, imaginative spirit, and kind spirit make her an ideal advocate for animals in shelters. She was a wonderful part of the family that Rachael, John, and Isabeau had. It was Rachael who recently explained where Isabeau acquired her name. Their first pit bull, Boo, died unexpectedly, and they adopted her immediately. Isabeau is a combination of Rachael's favorite girl's name, Isabella, and the name of a particular endearing dog, Boo. The fact that Rachael launched Rachael Ray Nutrish, a line of dog treats, is not shocking. In addition to supporting other animals, the brand's main emphasis is on providing nutritious food for dogs. The Rachael Ray Foundation provides aid to abused and neglected animals, and a portion of each sale of Nutrish goes toward this cause. But Nutrish hasn't been without its share of problems. Someone said in 2018 that the dog chow shouldn't be called natural since it contains weed killers. Due to a lack of clarity, the first complaint was rejected. They revised and resubmitted the complaint at a later date, but it was once again rejected. Testing revealed canine DNA in the meal, according to a new complaint that surfaced in 2020. The cuisine included a lot more ingredients than the 6 that were originally listed. The court also rejected a different complaint that had said the meal wasn't as nutritious as advertised. Her friendships are likewise entangled with Rachael's problems. Mario Batali, a famous chef, was the target of many harassment and sexual misconduct claims in 2017. The allegations were nonetheless featured in a documentary titled Batali: The Fall of a Superstar Chef in 2022. Even though he had resolved 2 lawsuits and been found not guilty in another. Rachael supported her buddy Mario, which hurt Mario's image even worse. It was upsetting to some. Rachael said in an interview from 2019 that she and Mario were still in touch, but that she hadn't brought up the claims with him. Emphasizing him seemed unjust to her. Additionally, she brought up the fact that rude language may be heard in kitchens from both men and women. In the food sector, Rachael felt she was always treated decently, while Mario was handled unjustly, in her opinion. A growing number of individuals have taken offense to Rachael, maybe as a result of her defense of a friend who was harassed. Other chefs and even some of her admirers have panned her. Those that dislike Rachael have been critical of her. There are websites that she has discussed, such as I Hate Rachael Ray, which has evolved into Rachael Ray Sucks. She is also aware of the fact that some others inside her profession have expressed disapproval of her. Some others have been vocal in their criticism of Rachael, including Martha Stewart. When Martha Stewart made derogatory comments about Rachael, it was a difficult moment for her. According to an interview Stewart gave to ABC in 2009, Rachael allegedly told Stewart that she hated Rachael's most recent cookbook and couldn't bake. What first made Rachael famous was her emphasis on fast and simple cooking, although she was heavily criticized for it back then. Notable chefs such as Emeril Lagasse, Anthony Bourdain, and Giada De Laurentiis voiced similar grievances. It seems, however, that some of the animosity against Rachael has faded with the passage of time. After putting their differences aside, Rachael and Emeril Lagasse are now close friends. All bets are off between Emeril and Rachael now that he makes frequent appearances on Rachael's program. Some haven't made it simple at all. Someone has said that Rachael's recipes aren't very creative. she generously contributed many recipes to her more than 20 volumes. There are likely hundreds of recipes associated with her name, given the abundance of recipes found online and in her periodicals. Fans were astonished to hear from others in the culinary business that she doesn't really make all the dishes featured in her magazine or TV program. One example is a 2012 article by the New York Times titled, "I Was a Cookbook Ghostwriter," which suggested that Rachael and other famous chefs may not be the ones to create their own cookbooks or recipes. Because of this, fans were inquisitive and began to ask questions. While Rachael admitted to obtaining assistance with the book's layout and finishing touches, such as the glossary, she said that she writes her cookbooks while relaxing at home with her family. This was discussed on an episode of Rachael Ray. Bobby Flay, a famous chef, was one of several who spoke up for Rachael. On Today, Bobby expressed his firm belief that Rachael is the one who writes her recipes. He went so far as to say that he has seen her work on them while shooting her TV programs, so we know she's involved. Another charge surfaced when Rachael Ray launched her program, Rachael Ray, albeit that answer did satisfy some people. Even though Rachael worked so hard to impress her live audience, some thought she wasn't the greatest host when the cameras weren't rolling. Viewers of the live broadcast were divided. Although not everyone was overjoyed, others really enjoyed themselves. On TripAdvisor, they had mixed feelings. Some said it was fantastic, while others warned not to have high expectations. Someone even felt sorry for Rachael's employees in 2019 when they said she seemed miserable and unappreciative of their presence. They wanted to know why, if she wasn't enjoying the performance, she continued doing it. However, Rachael is no longer burdened by those critiques. The last season of her program, Rachael Ray, has concluded. Rachael Ray's Rebuild, her most recent Hulu series, is one of her newer television endeavors. The protagonists of this drama, like Rachael, are those who have overcome adversity. On August 9, 2020, her Adirondacks home caught fire in a chimney fire, adding to her list of difficult occurrences. That home, which she and her husband had built more than a decade ago, was very dear to them. The fire was raging so fast one night that they had to rush to leave. After the fire went out, their home was a total wreck. In the fire, Rachael lost a lot of her possessions. She desired a similar atmosphere in the rebuilt home when she made the decision to reconstruct. While she made certain safety upgrades, such adding a tin roof to the new home, she also attempted to reproduce everything, including the room arrangement and furnishings. She hoped that by reflecting on what had happened, she might avoid a repeat performance. She would have to make other important decisions than rebuilding her Adirondack house. She was also the proud owner of a Tuscany, Italy home in 2021. Rachael Ray's Italian Dream Home is a series that aired on Hulu and documented her renovations. Then, in September of 2021, she had yet another difficult period when Hurricane Ida made landfall in New York City. Things were already challenging for her before the epidemic hit. Hurricane Ida shattered new rainfall records, killed many people, and damaged millions of dollars worth of property, even though it wasn't formally classified as a hurricane when it made landfall. The storm also wreaked havoc on Rachael's residence. Moreover, 3% of the structures in New York City were damaged by Hurricane Ida. The storm, according to Rachael's interview with People magazine, melted the fireplace and ceiling speakers, giving the impression that the whole apartment had melted. A crew that had come to assess the damage inadvertently burst a water pipe, which led to more flooding throughout the building and into the flat, eventually reaching the ground level. However, she managed to return to her residence in time for the 2021 Christmas season. On one occasion, she even flaunted her Christmas decorations. It was a joyful moment after a string of unfortunate occurrences. In May of 2023, The Rachael Ray Show broadcast its last episode. After 17 seasons, she decided to end her daytime chat program. The program was nominated for more than 30 daytime Emmys and won Outstanding Talk Program 3 times during its 17 years on broadcast. Rachael announced her intention to focus on her own production firm, Free Food Studios, after the program concluded after 17 seasons. A Plus E Networks offered her a new agreement, so she'll be back on TV soon with a new series and other projects. While Rachael and her husband John have been enjoying some much-needed downtime, she informed her followers to stay tuned for this new chapter of my life. Elba is an Italian island where they went on vacation, and Rachael posted photos and videos from there. According to her, this Labor Day weekend was the first time I didn't work at all in years. I've been working hard since I was 12, and John and I truly had 4 amazing days in Elba. It makes me so happy to be here. I'm really thankful to work hard, but it's such a gift to relax and take a breath when we can. However, Rachael has not only gone on vacation, she has also put her energy into her dream project, assisting the Ukrainian people. For her 6th trip to the war-torn nation, she returned in June 2023 to teach culinary courses at a youth education center and provide medical equipment to a health clinic. She has also collaborated with Lorena Lorenzo and Delbrenna Jewelry on product lines, with the proceeds going to the Unbroken Rehabilitation Center and the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. Rachael Ray's return to television began in August 2024 with the premiere of Meals in Minutes, her culinary program on the FYI cable channel. It seems like Rachael is really savor the performance and relish in its creation. John, her husband, is often there as she shoots it at their Adirondack house, and he normally makes his own drinks. With her abundance of realistic advice, she keeps the program grounded in reality. The perseverance and resolve shown by Rachael Ray throughout her journey are inspiring. From health problems she had as a youngster to family problems, public criticism, and the tragic loss of her house, she has faced substantial personal and professional challenges despite her celebrity and success. Despite this, Rachael has always found a way to triumph over these challenges, and she has used them to develop a successful profession that showcases her culinary skills and her dedication to assisting people. A strong reminder that success often comes with struggle, but what really defines us is how we rise above it. Rachael Ray's narrative serves as this as she pushes ahead into new endeavors and continues to make a difference in the world.